here's this video that says why minimum wage should not be increased. Do you want to watch it?
I was in this argument all day on Twitter.
Yay! Get ready to rehash it.
Whee!
Alright, YouTube, it is I, Mjolnirman, and I'm going to tell you why I am not in support of raising the minimum wage. Now, a lot of people are very shocked when they hear me say this, because when they look at me...
No, I'm not shocked, because I looked at you and I was like, this guy's a douchebag, and then you're like, I'm a douchebag.
It's not a shocking position to have, though. Plenty of people have this position.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
He's not like, you know what, child rape should be legal. Hear me out, hear me out. He's saying minimum wage shouldn't be increased.
The only people who should be against this are people who have like a bunch of employees that they're currently paying minimum wage.
Well, yeah, that makes sense, though, at least.
Yeah, like I can see why McDonald's is against raising the minimum wage.
Yeah, they have their own self-interest.
I'm sure this guy is about to elucidate for you, TJ, why a person that works between 35 and 40 hours a week in this country should not be able to afford a basic apartment, food, clothes, and maybe
I had a guy on Twitter today.
Free market, Paul.
I had a guy on Twitter. I made that same point to a guy on Twitter today, and he was literally like, explain to me why someone who has a 40-hour-a-week job should be able to survive off of it. I'm like, I don't see how I could why do I have to explain that? You just want me to accept it on faith. You're just like a theist. Like, I'm sorry. The purpose of jobs in society is, like, the whole reason anyone gets a job is so they have money so they can sustain their existence.
You're basically, for a lot of jobs, you're renting your time and your effort and your labor out in exchange for something else, which is usually money.
If they really want to make that kind of money, they should learn skills that give them value. I'm like, so...
There's plenty of people with skills that...
They don't have value as a burger flipper? I mean, don't we need someone to flip our burgers? I mean, I guess machines will probably be doing it in 10 years, but as long as people are doing it... Maybe pay them a living wage, just saying, because otherwise we end up supplementing it through food stamps and welfare and shit like that anyway. I'd rather make McDonald's pay their employees a living wage rather than having the taxpayers supplement McDonald's shitty wages.
Which we definitely do.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Paul.
I mean, it's not to mention that I can't even remember. Sorry, I lost my thought, dude. My train of thought ran. I think you probably covered it. Like, it's an absurd thing to try and explain to a person, like, why a person that worked, like, that's the whole contract you're making, right? You're giving this corporation your time in exchange for legal tender that you can spend on the shit you need to live.
Correct.
And if he thinks they don't have a valuable skill, then he should not eat. He should not go frequent any place that where minimum wage workers work, because apparently he doesn't recognize the value of their skills. So they should have no value to him. He should just not frequent any business that pays minimum wage.
And that's what I was gonna say, is that he forgets that we live in a fucking country where in order to get quote unquote valuable skills, you've got to go to school, and school costs fucking money in this country. So you need to have the job to get the money to go to school. But if you can't go to school and live at the same fucking time, you can never better yourself above a burger flipper. So what choice do you have?
I know. I'll tell you what the choice you have. Pull yourself up by your fucking bootstraps, bitch.
Which is really an ironic statement because it's totally impossible.
That'd be like TJ being like, why don't you just get famous on YouTube? Yeah. Tired of working minimum wage? Just get famous on YouTube, okay? I did it. You should be able to do it.
Anybody can do it. Yeah. I did it. Anyone can do it. It's like, well, not all people have the same abilities. Well, fuck them if they don't. It's like, okay, whatever. You're a shitheel.
And they probably assume that I'm some pot-smoking hippie liberal. That is not the case. I haven't touched cannabis in 4 years.
What does that have to do with anything?
Probably.
I'm sorry. I'm failing to see the relevance of that. Maybe you should smoke some cannabis. I don't know. You look like you should be smoking more cannabis. I don't know. Your walls are green.
People say that about me all the time, that I look like a pot-smoking liberal hippie, and I haven't touched cannabis since 15 seconds ago, so...
He's got a tiki mask on his wall. You see that shit?
Yeah, it's to ward off evil spirits.
Nope.
As well as I'm socially liberal. I do agree with gay marriage. I do,
Good thing for gay marriage that you agree.
Yeah, what does this have to do with the minimum wage?
Yeah, everyone was waiting with bated breath, like, what does this random asshole think? I approve. Okay, well then gay marriage can go forward. Like, I'm sorry, what do we need to know all these credentials for? Just explain your minimum wage position. No one cares what your issue, your gay marriage. Like, what are we supposed to do? Like, guys, I'm pretty liberal. I even think gay people should have the same rights as other people. So what I'm about to say is more legit. Like, I don't get it. No, it's not. Make your argument. Make your statement.
Agree for trans rights.
Okay.
All these things I agree with.
Wonderful.
I would say on the drug war, I'm even far left than most of today's Democratic candidates and senators.
You're wonderful.
I think
you're
all
amazing.
substances should be legalized.
Wow.
Portugal did it over 15 years ago. And
So I'm sorry, is this about drug legalization
Yeah.
or is this about minimum wage?
Now this video is about drug legalization.
Get to the fucking
Dude,
point.
it's the bad YouTube rule. Like, if it's a bad video, they can never get to the fucking point. I don't know what it is, but they just cannot do it. They're incapable of doing it.
turn into a dystopian wasteland. So, but fiscally, I am more conservative. And I made a checklist, so if I'm like looking here on the giant TV, I'm reading off
My
a checklist,
giant
so I'm gonna
TV.
pull it up here. I'm going to start off by saying you probably have run into a conservative, maybe in your family, maybe one of your friends, and they say, well, it wasn't made for a living. That's false. I'm not going to tell you that it's just made for high schoolers that have no experience, and these minimum wage jobs are essentially only for people to build up resumes to say they've worked at places and had experience. I do understand that it was an attempt to stimulate the economy after the Great Depression. I do understand that it was made in an attempt to, make a livable wage after the crash. I believe when they started it, it was a quarter an hour, and in 2012 that would translate to about $4 an hour. So it wasn't made for, inexperienced workers, have some incentive to pay. But it was actually made for people to try to live off of. But we see that this doesn't really work all too well, because no matter what you do, no matter how much you raise the minimum wage, it's basic economics. And these liberals that spout this stuff all
What is
basic?
what is basic
That's
economics?
the whole fucking point. The whole fucking point of a living wage is that it raises with inflation so that people can continue to live on their wage.
It has not kept pace with inflation either.
the time. They always are so upset with people saying this, but it's true. The prices on things will go up dramatically.
No.
Yes.
No, they won't. They will go up very slightly. They did a study.
Inflation.
They did a study to find out if McDonald's raised their the employee salaries to $15 an hour, how much would the price of a Big Mac have to go up?
Very little.
It would have to go from $3.99 to $4.17.
I don't know. Yeah,
I mean,
it would have to. But that's talking about what McDonald's would have to do to still make it economically viable to sell a Big Mac or whatever. That's
right.
Way different than what McDonald's is going to do. You don't think McDonald's is going to want to keep that same profit margin? They're like, we're paying a slave wage and serving a cheap product. You think they're going to allow that to be cut into?
I don't see what the problem would really be, because if they'd only have to raise their prices like literally like a couple of dimes. I really don't think anyone's going to be thinking that breaks the bank, especially if the minimum wage is $15 an hour.
I mean, like, if the combo meal costs you like $6-7, I mean, how much do you think in overall overhead or overall cost, how much do you think it costs them to buy that food?
Probably not
$3.
jack shit, dude.
I mean, even
maybe.
if
$2.
that,
Who
it
knows
may
the
even be
wholesale
less than $1. I mean, I don't know.
Well, they have labor costs too, and there's a lot of other costs associated with it.
To maintain the building.
Honestly, let's be totally honest. The big corporations can afford to pay more. The real issue, more so than anything, would be small businesses. And what do you define as a small business? I'd say businesses with less than 10 people. the minimum wage thing would actually hurt them more. McDonald's and huge corporations, they can absorb those kind of costs because they have a lot of money. The real people that'd be affected would be very small businesses.
Typical
even they can raise their
liberal
prices.
argument, telling everybody else what they could be paying. Hey, you're a big, rich YouTube star. Why don't you go down and subsidize your McDonald's? Give out $50 bills, a big shiny $50 bill to everybody working every day.
I'll give them an extra 20 cents for the burger.
There you go.
I'll give them an extra 20 cents. I don't give a shit.
I think I did a paper on this for my senior year of high school for a writing composition class.
If I was your teacher,
and I basically held the same stance. I had an example from Australia, and a lot of industries in Australia had to shut down or were slowing down in pace because of the minimum wage being raised to 12 Australian dollars an hour.
Maybe that's true.
So I'm not in
Everybody
favor
is
of
gainfully employed, and if you're not, you're taken care of, and there's no homelessness.
Yeah, here's how bad Australia is. This is actually Paul should be telling this story, but I'm the one who remembers it.
Okay.
When Beyond Fear was here with Paul and shit, and she saw the shanty towns in Los Angeles, she's like, "Why are all those people camping out in the city?" Like, that's how foreign of a fucking concept it was to her, that people are so broke they're sleeping on the fucking streets in little shitty makeshift towns. That's an Australian's perspective on fucking America, you nitwit.
You know what? 2 years ago, according to this, the cost of a Big Mac for McDonald's, just the food itself, was 77 cents.
Wow.
77 cents.
Beyond Fear was, like, appalled from the get-go at the poverty that she saw surrounding LAX. When we got into the fucking taxi that took us to Hollywood where we were staying, that's a long stretch through some of the poor parts of LA. And she was flabbergasted. She was like, people live in these places. And I was like, yes, lots of people do. And the homelessness and the beggars and the will work for food signs, like all of that was completely foreign to her as an Australian. That's why. The reason for that is because Australia has a $12 something minimum wage.
Well, that's
because
one of the
people there
reasons.
don't live on the fucking streets.
Amen.
$15 an hour for minimum wage.
Uh-huh.
Let's go over some reasons.
So wait a minute. The McDonald's cost for a Big Mac is 77 cents, Ben?
Yeah, according to that information. And that was 2 years ago.
So 2 years ago, it was costing 77 cents. Let's assume it's basically the same. Let's say it's like, I don't know, 80 cents now or something. They charge $3.99 for the motherfucker. So, I mean, this is like more than a 4 times markup. This is almost like a 5 times markup.
And think of how many of those they sell in a day, and then include fries, which are probably even cheaper to make. I mean, it adds up.
I mean, and just to make their same profit margin they're already making, they just raise the price of that, 20 cents. They wouldn't even have to really raise the prices anyway because they overcharge.
That's the cost of the materials. You have to factor in labor.
Yeah, but I mean,
rent.
come on. These McDonald's fucking peddles these sandwiches like it ain't shit. Even the shitty McDonald's.
I don't know what their profit margin
even
is.
The shitty McDonald's, even the shitty McDonald's by us, man. Even the shitty McDonald's by us, they got people in that drive-thru all the time.
Sure.
And that's one of the worst McDonald's
because they're slow.
But I mean, people are still going there, though. No one says like, "Man, this place is slow and it sucks," and they can't even get you the food on time and
it's
shit.
It's just America. People will put up with fast food even if it's slow.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
It's convenient.
If it's going to be slow, but it's not convenient at that point. If it's going to be that slow,
it's convenient in the sense that
you don't have to make it.
You don't have to make it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
that's why you keep eating it.
Yeah. All you have to do is wait.
But
I
would just as soon go to somewhere else. There's other fast food options, but people still go to McDonald's. I don't know why. Maybe some people have good.
They just enjoy it,
somewhere.
probably.
No, it's the same reason you do it. Just like that fucking video you made where you said it tastes like your childhood. It's
but
it's like nostalgia.
I don't go there that often though. I go there every once in a fucking blue moon. Like,
and how often is every once in a blue moon, TJ? Let's hear this.
A blue moon? I don't know. I mean, I don't know when.
When's the last time you went to McDonald's? When's the last
blue moon
time?
is 2 full moons in 1 month.
When's the last time you went? I bet it wasn't even a month ago.
Last time, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I think it was after the last private show. So, yeah, probably more than a month ago.
Yeah.
Did they taste better going down or coming up?
They tasted better going... I couldn't taste them either time. I was so drunk.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Maybe you'll find out again tomorrow.
Maybe.
Nah, man, we'll probably have late night slice tomorrow.
Fuck yeah, late night slice. Slice TJ's face.
Just a reminder to everyone, if you haven't already subscribed to either our SoundCloud or our iTunes feed, we will be doing 10 to 15 minutes of post-show after this show, beginning from now until the end of time. So,
do you want to go into the post-show now?
No.
Okay. We're already pretty much at show length. But
no, we're not.
2 hours and 16 minutes and 29 seconds.
Usually the show's 2:30, TJ.
I don't think so. But whatever.